Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Walsall Rewind. It's 2025, and obviously, we're back with a brand new rewind. This time, looking back at the month of December. It was a hectic month for everybody here at the football club with 7 games across 2 different competitions. Before we start, I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year and fingers crossed the start of the new year is as good as the end of 2024. Fingers crossed it continues to go in the same trajectory. As we get looking back to the games in December, we'll also look back at the things that happened elsewhere at the football club across all of the different departments and picking a few of our favourite moments from the year of 2024. Paul, as I've mentioned, it was a hectic month in December with so many games, and we'll start it. I think it was the day that we filmed the last rewind. Action got underway, and it was Notts County at home. And it was a bit of a blockbuster game. I'll use one of Matt Sadler's favourite terms. It was a ding-dong game, wasn't it? It was a 3-2 victory for the Sadlers. Goals coming from Taylor Allen, George Hall and Nathan Lowe. And, it was the perfect way to bounce back from the 4-0 defeat against Charlton in the FA Cup.
Yeah, it was, and it was a tough fixture of that. And God, it feels like a lifetime ago now, doesn't it? It really does. 3rd of December, Tuesday night, under the lights, good crowd here. And, I think that was an early sign of 2 quality teams in the division, I think. 3-2, close encounter. I think it was Taylor Allen's goal from a corner.
Yeah.
We've seen how dangerous he is from the dead ball. And, I think at that point he'd scored a penalty, he'd scored a free kick. Obviously one from open play, and then he added a corner to that. So, it was a really, really crazy game. I was really pleased to see George Hall get himself on the score sheet as well. I think we spoke about him on the last rewind, how sort of November was a really big month for him. And he got his first goal in the trophy match prior to that, so November was big for him, and he took that into the start of December, getting his first league goal. Really good moment for him. And obviously Nathan Lowe does what Nathan Lowe does. But yeah, County share their quality. I thought McGoldrick was a tricky customer on the night, wasn't he? Dropping into those pockets, into that number 10 role, caused a few problems. And obviously, they get a goal late on to make it 3-2. So the Saddles have to hold the nerve. And I think I've got to give credit to Tommy Sink as well. I think he makes a really big save right at the end of that game to ensure the Saddles take home 3 points, bounce back from that cup drubbing from Charlton, if you like. And obviously, the previous league game was that comeback draw with Bromley, so it was back to winning ways. It was also a really important victory on that night.
Yeah, it was, and obviously we wish George all the best at the moment. Disappointing news to hear, of his injury, and it's a real shame for him that he has picked up an injury because he was just getting up ahead of steam, and it's a real shame to lose a player of such quality for such a period of time. So all the best in your recovery, George, for that one. And you mentioned about going back into winning ways, and it was about the month of December. We always say, we seem to say it for every month building up to Christmas that, this could be a pivotal month for the Saddlers in regards to the games, and none more so than the second game of that month, and first against second going into it, with the Saddlers then making a short trip up to Vale Park, and 2,800 travelling fans up there. The away end behind the goal was just, you could tell it was going to be a special, afternoon. When the fixtures got released, none more so, just because of, previous rivalries and everything like that, you could tell it was going to be a special afternoon, and it was a special afternoon. Jamil Mack popping up with that blockbuster of a goal. It's, for me, goal of the season contender because it's a superb finish. But, it was awful conditions on the day. The wind, the rain, everything was trying to go against the game actually going ahead, and it looked like it was going to be a set piece that would go on and win the game, and effectively it was the second phase of set piece, wasn't it?
It was, and I think it felt during that game a set piece was going to be, it was either going to be a set piece or a mistake, wasn't it? I felt sorry for both goalkeepers on that day, because every time whatever they tried to do to kick the ball, the wind would just send it right back to them. Whether they kept it flat, whether they tried to send it high, either direction, it just kept coming back. It was awful, but it was Walsall who adapted quicker and adapted better. I felt probably Port Vale had the better of the first 10 or 15 minutes, but I think after that, Walsall, once they got control of the game, I think they only looked like there was going to be one team who was going to win it. No, yes, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't a game with a lot of chances, but I think Walsall adapted well, used their weapons of the long throw and the set-piece delivery, And ultimately, that's what got them a goal early in the second half. I mean, we spoke about all season now, Walsall. We just keep coming on strong in the second half, don't we? And it's not a coincidence. We work out the opposition in the first half. We're really good at that. I think our fitness, our desire, our work rate is just second to none in this division, and the way we press and hound and win the ball back, teams can't live with us. I think the way we win second balls as well. And, it was a battle that day, and I think once the Saddlers got their noses in front, they were doing everything they can to keep that clean sheet, and I thought it was a deserved victory. And great to see Jamil Matt in a local derby, so to speak, get the goal. I think the corner comes in, it's sort of like, I think he touches it with his head and then gets the sort of second ricochet and then sort of stabs it in. I think players are on the line potentially in case it's going wide, ready to poke it home as well. So it was an unbelievable day, and oh my God, the weather as well, blimey. Driving up, the car was shaking everywhere, and it was literally a case of let's just hope the game's on, let alone get the result. But fair play to the staff at Port Vale as well. I think they did an excellent job in making sure the game was going to go ahead and how they managed the pitch, and it was just a brilliant day. That away end was absolutely phenomenal. I've very rarely in League Two seen an away end where 45 minutes before kick-off it's pretty much packed, non-stop singing even before the game. It was incredible, and I've only just warmed up, to be honest, since getting home. It was cold, it was windy. I dread to think what it must have been like to play, and so credit to all the players. Just what a day.
It's not going to be the last time that we're going to talk about the weather on this episode of Rewind, because December's been a whirlwind, and that's just the weather. But yeah, it was a great occasion that day, and to prevail with a 1-0 win, and the clean sheet was massively important, because I know Dan still keeps a track of who's at the top of the clean sheet charts, and I think the Vale goalkeeper was going into it, and since then I think Tommy's overtaken him. So massive credit goes to the work that they put in, and then attention's turned from league action into Virtue Trophy action as we welcomed League One side Reading, and there was another game that seemed to have absolutely everything in it. If that was 3-0 to the Saddlers at half time, nobody's batting an eyelid because of the amount of chances we had. I think Albert misses one from a couple of yards out, DJ misses a couple, and then you go into the second half and Reading go down to 10 men to start with. The goalkeeper David Button caught in absolute no man's land and's got no idea what he's doing, and then Ashkar Ahmed gets sent off for a second booking. I think he takes Nathan Lowe down, but either side of that, smack bang in the middle of that, Tyler Saki puts Reading ahead, and you're thinking it's going to be one of those days where the Saddlers have so many chances, but with the very, very last kick of the game, that man DJ pops up with a sensational finish into the top corner, back across the young goalkeeper, the young Reading goalkeeper who came on as a sub, and then the Saddlers go ahead and win it on penalties.
It would have been thoroughly unjust for the Saddlers not to have got something from that game. It was crazy. I mean, that first half alone, like you say, should have been 3-0 up. I remember the ball being rolled across to Albert, wasn't it? And if it looked destined to tap it in, DJ, he must have 6 or 7 chances that night. He was probably thinking, it's just not my night tonight. But you got to give him credit. That's the typical striker's instinct, because as a striker, you probably do have days like that where everything you touch just doesn't seem to go in for whatever reason. So what's so great about DJ is he just always knows where to put himself to get those chances. That's why he scores so many goals and gets himself in a great position. And I think it was Reyes Cleary with the initial ball, wasn't it, that goes all the way across goal, and finally Walsall get that goal. But you got to credit Reading as well. I think the way they took the lead with 10 men, didn't they? So I think the way they sort of regrouped, and they just lost their manager as well a few days before, hadn't they? So I think Noel Hunt was in charge, only his second game in charge. So there'd been a bit of a tumultuous time for them as well. So credit to them. I think they're a young side really young side that night as well, who showed good character themselves, and they're a decent League One team. They're in the playoffs. Well, they were at that point, weren't they? They were in the playoffs, so it was a tough test. But then, I think it can be difficult with 10 men when they're sitting. But then the 9, I think it just opened it up a little bit more, and the Saddlers got their rewards. I think they'll look back at it and think probably should have been more clinical on the night, but got their rewards. And then obviously, of course, the penalty shootout did the business. Credit to Sam Hornby as well. He absolutely loves a penalty shootout, doesn't he? He really does, and he's been excellent, and he'll probably think he's unfortunate not to have played more games, but such is the quality of the 2 goalies we've got. My gosh, we're very lucky.
Yeah, we really are, and like you say, Sam Hornby loves a penalty shootout, and performed really, really well in that one. And I think you say 5 of the 10 penalties he's faced this season, which I think across any division across the world is absolutely incredible. And then I often say this to Sads or one of the players. Momentum's such a buzzword in football, and when the games are coming thick and fast, around the Christmas period, you just want that next one to come when it's going so well, and it did so when we were back here on the Saturday. We welcomed Barrow this time around in the league. It was another 1-0 victory for us, and it was that man again, Taylor Allen, who pops up with the goal to secure all 3 points.
Yeah, tight game, wasn't it, against Barrow? An opposition who I think since they got promoted in 2020 we hadn't beaten, so it might have been a bit of a psychological thing in the back of the minds, maybe more so of the fans than the players. A tricky opponent, a bit of a bogey team if you like, but another win, another clean sheet. I think it was really important after the euphoria of Port Vale of going top of the league that day, that there was no sort of after the Lord Mayor show, and I think it was another solid outing from the Saddlers. I think Charlie Lakin stood out that afternoon, didn't he? He covered every single blade of grass. He was everywhere. He was winning the ball back. His fast passing and good movement of the ball and just shifting it really, really well. It was an excellent performance from Charlie Lakin. I think since there was a game he missed, wasn't it? Was it the Bromley game? He didn't start, and I felt like, he was a real. We started to realise what a massive player Charlie Lakin is for the Saddlers, and I think over the course of December he's really stood out with his energetic performances, the way he wins the ball back, how good he is on the ball, how creative he is. He's a real key cog, and I think we've spoke about this before, how crucial the 8s are in our system, and the work they do as well is phenomenal. What they have to do, so the energy they've got, it's a credit to them. So big performance from him, and yeah, great strike from Taylor Allen. I think it was arrowed into the far corner, wasn't it? And another solid performance and another good result.
Yeah, I mentioned it wasn't going to be the last time that we talked about the weather. We went to Harrogate, and goodness me, if you want poor weather conditions of a second half, that game gave it to you. Because in the first half I was sat pitchside and I'm thinking, it's not too bad, it's a bit cold, but the sun was shining. It didn't look like it was going to be too bad. There was a bit of wind about, and then in the second half it was like somebody turned the heavens sprinklers on and the wind system, because all of a sudden we just had this torrential downpour and wind swirling and everything, and it just made the second half, with the Saddlers playing into that wind, I can't even describe what it was like, because it was like playing in a whirlpool, going on the pitch after the lads were coming off absolutely shivering because of how cold it was. But that didn't deter the Saddlers from going about their business. Another 2-0 win against 10 men Harrogate. Nathan Lowe with a superb strike in the first half against the wind, keeps it low, driven in from 25 yards after pinching the ball back off one of their players. And then Albert Adoma steps up with his goal. It's a great touch and finish, coming in for the suspended Jamil Matt at that point. And that was a real good, solid away performance, wasn't it, to pick up another 3 points and another clean sheet.
Yeah, it was against. Well, I mean, it's like December's been played throughout the movie Day After Tomorrow or something like that. It's been ridiculous, the weather, especially. I mean, the first half, it was the winds were quite strong. I know there was a couple of goal kicks of Tommy's that kept coming back as well, and I actually felt like Harrogate didn't take advantage of the weather, to be honest, when they sort of had the wind in their favour, because they pop it about quite nicely. They move the ball, little triangles, and I think they do like to play football, but it wasn't the game for that. I felt like if they'd have got it into our box more, they might have caused more problems, because when we got it in their box, we caused problems second half. We really did. I felt like Harrogate didn't lay a glove on us. I know they went down to 10 men, but even at 11v11 in that opening period, I felt like Walsall had enough control of the game. I think Josh March had a goal ruled out offside and one little chance, but other than that, I just didn't feel like Harrogate laid a glove on us all afternoon. The red card, I mean, the yellow is a high boot. I think it's on Harry. Yeah, Harry Williams, and then knowing he's on a yellow card, I don't know what he's doing. Elbowing Taylor Allen, it's clear, blatant sort of moving like that right under the nose of the assistant referee as well. And I said on co-commentary at the time, I think Simon Weaver will be very frustrated with Josh March, and obviously he had his offside goal, and then which I think Harrogate believed wasn't offside, but I think he got caught offside a number of occasions as well. I just felt like it was one of them afternoons that just didn't go Josh March's way, did it? With those and the red card. But yeah, on a yellow card, I was a bit shocked the way he went in and elbowed Taylor Allen there, and yeah, really put Harrogate on the back foot. Nathan Lowe, what a finish. He's driving forward, gets the ball nicked off him, but he nicks it back straight away. And his first thought, 25 yards out, is get a shot off. And that sort of hunger and almost greed is what you need as a striker, and he's got that in abundance. And the way he managed to keep it low, and it was such a composed finish from so far out, kept it low, right in the corner, beat the goalkeeper, no chance. It's a real standout goal for me, it really is. Real quality, and I think Matt Sadler would have warned his side at half-time, listen, Reading, they got themselves a goal with 10 men, so this game isn't done yet. And it was just about, I think I said it at half-time, it was about being professional in that second half, and that was exactly what the Saddlers did. They were thoroughly professional, managed the conditions perfectly, nothing silly, did the simple stuff right, got the basics right, probed, kept going, got that second goal, and then from them, comfortably saw the game out. Harrogate didn't have a chance until the last kick of the game, and fair play, it's a real good save from Tommy Simpkin, isn't it? To deny them a goal. I think Duke McKenna came on, and he was probably their bright spark from the bench, Harrogate, up against his international teammate Liam Gordon, of course. But, you know, in terrible conditions, real solid victory, and I felt there was quite a chasm between the two teams in terms of quality that afternoon.
Yeah, I think you're right, and you know, I think their fans weren't overly pleased with some of the stuff that they were seeing, but you know, a really good afternoon out for the Saddlers right before Christmas as well, so it was great to get that so-called early Christmas present of those 3 points. And then you were looking for one, you know, a late Christmas present against you know, a Doncaster side who were right up there in the automatics with us at the time, and you know, you were thinking this is probably going to be, you know, as tough a game as it was against Notts County and as it was against Port Vale as well. And you know, it took a little bit of time again for the Saddlers just to sort of get into it. Doncaster had changed their shape into a diamond in the middle and just tried to counteract our eights. And I thought, you know, at times they did that quite well just by stopping us playing off them. And they had plenty of runners going, you know, here, there and everywhere down the channels. But again, it was a game that the Saddlers, you know, bided their time in. And you spoke about second half goals earlier on in the episode. And, you know, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the Saddlers have scored something like 55, 56 goals this season in all competitions, and it's something like 36, 37 of those have come in the second half of games, and that just goes to show the incredible tenacity that we've got as a squad, and the, you know, the athleticism that's in there, that we can go on and put teams to bed in the second half. And we did that again against Doncaster with Nathan Lowe and Harry Williams scoring the goals.
Yeah, and I think it's over 70% of the goals in the second half. It's quite remarkable, but it's not a coincidence at all, is it? It really isn't. I must stress that. I think that there's reasons behind it, but yeah, I mean, throughout this month of December, it felt like we were always sort of looking at, oh, they're right up there with us. This is a big game. Oh, this is a top of the table clash again, and that just felt like apart from like the Harrogate game from Newport, which we'll talk about shortly, but it just always felt like we had a top of the table clash, didn't we? And it was like, oh, this could be crucial in terms of points gap. So again, I felt like another assured performance from the Saddlers, didn't it? Really got the job done. Obviously Nathan Lowe, what a December he's had, by the way. Just come on leaps and bounds, and I think Harry Williams had hit the post just before his goal, hadn't he? So it felt like the second goal was coming, and finally gets his rewards. And I'm really pleased Harry it's his second goal for the Saddlers. Really pleased for him, because obviously his first goal came in the Fleetwood defeat, which I feel like he doesn't get his moment then, does he, in terms of like scoring that was his first Walsall goal. I didn't really get that big moment because it would have meant a lot to him. So really pleased he got a moment where he's got a goal. It's meant something. It's almost took the game away from Doncaster, and you know, he can celebrate with a victory, because I think he's been phenomenal this season as well. Heads absolutely everything, clears absolutely everything, body on the line, and he's really shown his quality. And yeah, the ball just kept on rolling, didn't it? That momentum really built. That was the 5th win on the bounce, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's that buzzword in football, isn't it, that I've mentioned, the momentum of just everything seeming to go your way when you're winning, and you get that, perhaps that little bit of the rub of the green
snowballing,
or something like that. And you do that with Newport again. I thought of the games that the Saddlers played in December, it probably was the game that we didn't necessarily look wholeheartedly at it. I think there were times where we were a little bit wasteful with the ball going forward, transitioning from midfield into attack. The passes just weren't quite there at times, and I think it took for perhaps that little bit of fortune in the game where Nathan Lowe gets the ball put back into his path from Taylor Allen, and he pokes it towards goal and it goes in. And then you get his second one, which I have to say is an absolutely... We speak about the striker at Harrogate being, a class strike. That one I think is even better. It's on his left foot, which he classes his weaker foot. He takes it nice and early, nods it down with his head, and then just levers it into the bottom corner. And when you've got a striker who's in such form as him, who's got the confidence that he's got... He's got the confidence without scoring the goals, but when he's hit, scoring the goals that he is, and I think, including the Notts County one, which we'll come on to, in the next episode, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. I think he's at 22 or 23 goal involvements in all competitions in 28 games this season. Those are the types of goals that only a striker in the form that Nathan Lowe's in will score.
That's it. He literally does score all types of goals, doesn't he? He gets the scrappy ones where the little tap-ins, or like Wimbledon as well, for example, getting in a good position for a tap-in. But then he gets the ridiculous ones as well, like his one at Harrogate, and then that one where it's touch, and then it's just a devastating finish. He's a devastating striker. And yeah, I remember turning to you, I think quite on the hour mark, I remember turning to you during that game thinking, this could be one of our best wins of the season, if we go on to win this game, because I just felt it was, obviously it's the Christmas period. You're not going to be 100% at it every single game over the Christmas period, because there's that many games in quick succession, and obviously when the team's winning, there's not going to be wholesale changes every week, is there? So naturally, a lot of players would have played a lot of minutes over a short space of time. I don't think any manager will ever want to blame that, by the way, but obviously I think we named an unchanged team going into the Newport game, and then obviously credit to Newport as well. They came with a game plan, and I think their game plan was possession, and they kept the ball, knocking it from side to side. They didn't really hurt us. I think they by doing so they managed to sort of stop what we do, and then I think we do like to transition very quickly, don't we? And sometimes it's not quite coming off, is it? Like you said, I think at times wasteful in possession, and it was just a little bit frustrating, but held our nerve, didn't we? Really held our nerve, and then once we get the first goal, there's only one winner in the game, isn't there? And that's exactly what happened. Get that second goal, take it away from Newport, and again, it's job done. And in the end, it was actually a deserved win, I think. Yeah,
it was. And you mentioned about being one of our best wins, and then I think you mentioned in the last rewind the point against Bromley being arguably one of the better points that we'll get this season.
Massive
it was
point.
Last kick of the game in that one with Dave getting it, and it's about those moments of getting yourself there. And I think Tommy Simkin makes throughout the month of December makes a number of key saves, which go on to the fact of the Saddlers keeping 5 clean sheets on the spin at that point. I think I remember Tom Marlowe talking to I think Oshin after the Newport game and saying that I think it was 7.5 hours that the Saddlers hadn't conceded a goal in going into the New Year's Day game, and that's a testament to everybody across the squad, isn't it? That the high pressing, the overall team performance is what contributes to not just the goals but the clean sheets as well.
Oh, it really is. I mean, the clean sheets, you could argue, even the forwards are contributing to that with the work they do, winning the ball back so high up, and the eights as well, the work they do. It is a real team effort. And what you mentioned about the 7 hours without conceding, I think as well, after Chesterfield away, which was on October the 5th, the Saddlers didn't concede a goal in the first half for the rest of 2024, which is I think it's a ridiculous record. And that's testament to everyone involved in that, where the coaching staff, goalkeepers, goalkeeper coaches, and defenders, all the players. It's some defensive record that the Saddlers have got this season, and that's what I say. goals win your games, defence wins your titles, and you can see the fruits of that, definitely. So really good platform there, and it was a great way to end the month, great way to end the year, top of the league, and it was a real gap developing. But those Newport type games, I think they're the ones that get you promotions, they're the ones that get you league titles or whatever it is you're going for, because when you're not at your best, or when you've not started the game as well as you would have liked, or if plan A is not quite working, if you find a way to win, and that's what this team have really done, I think, compared to last season. I think that's the big difference. I think this team finds a way. They problem solve on the pitch themselves. I think Matt Sadler's mentioned that. I think he mentioned that after the Newport game. Actually, he was really pleased with the way the team problem solved in that game. So I think that's a big difference from last season. I think this team, they find a way, which is vital.
And let's hope they keep finding ways, because, plenty of games still to go, and obviously we've got that gap there at the top of the table, but still a long way to go. And you mentioned goals winning games. There was 12 in December. Which goal are you choosing for your goal of the month?
The two I've got as standouts, I think Lowy against Harrogate. I just like the way he won the ball back as well, and how he managed to keep it down to such a great finish. But the other one I've got written down purely because you don't see that often. Taylor Allen scoring direct from a corner, I just think is ludicrous. So I've got to choose one between these, haven't I? You know what, Lowy, you'll have plenty, mate. So go on, Tails, you have it.
Well, I've got written down Lowy's one against Harrogate, and it's incredible the fact that neither of us have put his goal down against. I
was thinking that. I was like, why have I not even mentioned that?
It comes to something when there's plenty to choose from. And speaking of choosing from them, we've selected 4 of those 12 for you to go and vote as your goal of the month over on our social media pages. So go and have a look at those shortly after the rewind has gone out. And goal of the month is brought to you now in association with the Turmeric Company. So thanks to them for coming on board, and go and choose your favourite goal of the month for December. Speaking of those kind of things, elsewhere at the football club, the conference and events department would like to say a huge thank you to everybody who attended our Christmas nights here at the Poundland Bescott Stadium in December. We hope you all had an amazing time here for those events. We've still got lots coming up here at the Bescott in the coming months, including a night with Elvis on Friday the 21st of February, and then a big night at the Darts on the 20th of June with Stephen Bunting, Luke Woodhouse, Darryl Gurney and Adrian Lewis all in attendance. That's set to be an incredible one. For further information on those events, please contact our conference and events department, and they'll be able to assist you further with those. In the commercial department, Adam and Kira are delighted to announce a brand new partnership with the Turmeric Company, as I've just mentioned there. They'll be sponsoring the goal of the month between now and the end of the season, and hopefully moving forward there. They're also pleased to announce that all of the main match sponsorships for the remainder of the season have now sold out, which is absolutely incredible. And match ball sponsorships and hospitality are very limited until the end of the season, so please do contact them now to avoid any further disappointments. The support on those kind of things has been incredible, and long may it continue. That's everything elsewhere at the football club. Paul, let's get back onto football matters now, and we're going to take a look back at 2024, and there's a lot to digest in it, but we'll just discuss some of the highlights. We've picked out 4, topics that we're going to look at. We'll start with, your match of the year. What would that be?
I've got quite a few written down, and actually, so I think just trying to pick this award, it goes to show what a great calendar year it's been for the Saddlers. People look back on the back end of the 23-24 season perhaps as a disappointment, but it was a real sign of progress. I think from Christmas 23 up until the end of that season was real green shoots. I think the form was playoff form, albeit the last 5 or 6 games of the season just sort of fizzled out a little bit. But I mean, I've got to start right at the start of 24 New Year's Day, 6-1 away at Grimsby. I mean, we'd obviously just beaten Wrexham and I think it was Crewe who were high flyers, and then it was like, it was no after the Lord Mayor show after Wrexham. My God, no, 6-1 away at Grimsby. I think Hutchinson got 2, Priestley got his first goal, DJ got on the score sheet. The goal from DJT is sensational as well. God, it feels like a lifetime ago. So that's up there. I think Mansfield at home that started the 5-game winning run, and the birth of Adebayo goal. Because I think the game before he wasn't even in the squad. No. And then I think, was it an injury in the Newport game? He gets back on the bench, and then another injury during the Mansfield game, and he's in, and then he scores as well. And there was obviously a dubious Mansfield goal, which we won't talk about, that didn't count. But yeah, Mansfield obviously got themselves promoted. I think after losing 3-0 to Newport the week before, I don't think anyone gave the Saddlers much of a chance, and then pull that result out of the bag. And what a moment for Manny Adebayoga as well. So that's a standout one. Then into this season, 4-0 away at Swindon. Again, I think there was still a lot of concern from supporters about transfer activity. I think we were still awaiting for that Lowy and Reyes to arrive at that point. And then we go and score a lorry load of goals at Swindon. Albert gets his first, Jammer and Flash get their first goals as well. So that's up there. 3-2 against Huddersfield. Lowy's incredible roller coaster. 2-0 down. He misses a penalty. He's missed a couple of chances. He's probably thinking, oh my days, it's not my night. And the fans probably seen a new 18-year-old lad. Oh my God, what a way to endear yourself missing a penalty. But then 2 terrific goals, and it set him off, didn't it? It really did. And he probably experienced what he'd expected to experience in his whole loan in one game. That was a terrific night and a great moment at the end with the late winner. And then another one I've picked out is the Bolton game. Jealous, what a moment that was at the end of that game, beating another League One side. So do I have to pick one out of those?
Yes, please.
Let's go Huddersfield.
You've taken one.
I forgot Vale as well. Vale's on there, but so yeah, Vale second, Huddersfield because of the drama.
Yeah, I've put Huddersfield down as well, just because it had everything in it as a game, and I think when you're a football fan and you know, perhaps play out a game that you're going to want to be involved in, you go 2-0 down, they've got 10 men, then you miss a penalty. I think he missed a chance earlier on in that first half as well, and you know, then the comeback kid almost at that point, and it's got a bit of everything in it, and as a football fan that's what you want, and you know, that would have been my game of 2024 as well. You know, there's plenty to choose from as Paul's run us through there, and we'll come to, you know, what you guys would choose as the viewers. You know, at the end we want your highlights in there as well. But you know, the amount of goals that we've scored in the year of 2024, what would your goal of the season, goal of the year be?
I feel like I listed all of them. It's mad.
Choose one.
Oof. So, the ones I've listed Douglas James Taylor at Grimsby, Donovan against Sutton, Mo Fall against Salford, Combs at Tranmere away, DJ Swindon, Taylor Allen Swindon, the free kick, Jellis, Colchester and Grimsby away, Tails Notts County, Low, Harrogate and Jellis Bolton. You know what? I'm going to pick one. Jellis at Grimsby away.
That's what I've written down.
Great minds think alike, Thomas.
But yeah, I don't. You know, there's some great goals in there. I'd forgotten about some of them. The Taylor Allen free kick away at Swindon is an absolute peach, and just the way it nestles into the side netting, it's really good. But you can't look past the Jellis one. It's just the way it sits up for him. He volleys it, and it's a really good goal. And you know, I think, as we've both just picked there, that's our goal of.
And he rightfully won goal of the month, didn't he?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I don't think you can look past that. And
nice little photo opportunity for him, which I'm sure he loved.
You know, if that doesn't get even nominated for, you know, League Two's goal of the season, I will be absolutely astounded. And you know, I think I would, you know, hedge my bets already that that's probably going to win Sadler's goal of the season as well, unless somebody pulls out another wonder strike. You've got plenty of games left to do it. So. Next up, wholesome moment of the year. There's been plenty that the club have done on the pitch, off the pitch, up at the training ground. There's lots always going on that, you know, supporters may not always see, because it's not always publicised what, you know, little things do. It might come from other people that, you know, those sorts of moments get out. But what would your wholesome moment of the year be?
I've gone with an off the pitch one. When we had, it was back in January when we had young Alfie up here. Obviously, I think Alfie had his heart condition, been in hospital numerous times, hadn't he? And obviously in 2023 as well, I know there was that game against Grimsby where his friend from Grimsby as well, who'd been going through similar kind of thing. They had a moment together at that game, but then he was invited to the training ground in January 2024, and he built up a friendship with Joe Riley as well. I thought that was really, really nice between the pair of them, how well they clicked together, and came to the training ground. I think he got to interview Matt Sadler. He got to have lunch with all the lads, and I think Sky Sports, he got an interview on Sky Sports as well, Sky Sports games, and that was a lovely package from them as well. And then he was meant to come to a game and he got called off, so we had to get him to another game. He read out the team sheet. He got to go down in the dressing room as well, and I think he gave a team talk to the lads as well, and really inspired them. So I think, Alfie, this goes out to you. I hope you're doing well, mate. And I thought it was a really, really lovely moment. It was really great to meet you at the training. It was a pleasure, and I know Matt Sadler and all the lads, really enjoyed meeting you. So that's my wholesome moment of 2024.
Surprisingly, we've not picked the same one, which, we're doing all right there. I've gone for an on-the-pitch one, and I think, I've chosen Josh Gordon stepping up to score the penalty against Exeter. Obviously he missed one earlier on in the game, and, it takes an awful lot of bottle to get up, and it was the 5th penalty in the shootout. It was the one to win us it, and, sometimes if, you miss those moments, players can go into their shells, they can miss that, and, for him to go on and score that goal, and then everybody in the team rush forward, get on, pile on with him, and I think it just goes to that showed the first real sign of, proper togetherness of this team. And you looked at that moment and you thought, okay, this is the kind of moment which can really galvanise a team season, even though it is so early on. Because if you go out then, you perhaps don't have the runs that you've had against League One teams this season, and you could look at that in the back of your mind and think, we're going to other penalty shootout games that we've had this season, and you might not win them, but you've got the confidence of winning one as a group previously, and they've gone into games, so on and so forth from there, and done similar sorts of moments. So I was absolutely delighted for Josh coming back in and getting that and scoring that winning penalty. So that was my wholesome moment of the year. And then to end it, I think we'll both have the same one for this one. It's quote of the year. There is only one man who has to take this title. We presented him with a box of them at the end of season awards. Paula, I'm going to let you take this one away, but this is my quote of the year as well.
Cornflakes.
Ross Tierney, you absolute legend. You gave us so many laughs with this. It all stemmed from a video about fruit and veg. I think it was
Green Football Weekend.
Green Football Weekend. And he came up and he said that down the barrel of the camera.
Chest out.
Since then, we have not. It's still something that we quote to this day.
Cornflakes.
He's provided us with a moment I don't think either of us will ever forget working here at the football club, and that's our quote of the year.
I'll put that photo of us with the box of corn.
We'll put it on top of this, but at the end of the year we bought him a massive box of cornflakes. So Ross, thanks for providing us with that one. So just to recap on those for you to let us know in the comment section down below, you've got your match of the year, your goal of the year, your wholesome moment of the year. If you've got one that perhaps we weren't privy to, let us know as well, because it'd be great to hear of those. And then you've got your quote of the year, whether it's something that Sadza says, somebody, your friend, family member said to you, let us know in the comment section. 2024 was a great year for everybody. You saw real progress, off the pitch, on the pitch, everything here at the football club, and fingers crossed for a real successful and fruitful 2025. And who knows what can happen. Fingers crossed it is a real good one. And already into 2025, Paul, January, it's another busy month for everybody, not just in terms of what's happening out there on the pitch. The window's open, so it's always a busy time, whether there's outgoings for any other football club, incomings, everything happens. Everybody wants to know everything. And all we'll say, just to cap that off before, we're not going to talk too much about the window, but any news that does come out of the club will come directly from us. It'll be on our socials, it'll be on the website. It might even come from Ben Sadler, who's been absolutely superb, across social media, and I think all of the supporters really appreciate that. But there's 7 games in January. We've already had the one. We're not going to talk about it just yet, but we all know what happened in that one against Notts County on New Year's Day. Let's just say it kick-started the year off beautifully. But yeah, there's league games against Cheltenham, Tranmere, MK Dons, Bradford, Fleetwood, all sandwiched around the Virtue Trophy knockout game away at Peterborough. It's another busy month.
It really is. Like you say, league games, all months seem to be 7-game months this year. So yeah, league games, trophy game, chance to get into a quarter final. That's a massive game. Transfer window, and one of the league games as well, live on Sky Sports. So obviously we'll be very busy, working with Sky Sports to make sure that all goes smoothly, and there'll be plenty of activity around that, I'm sure. So plenty going on, lots to look forward to. I'm really excited for January. It's going to be a hectic month, and then I'm sure it'll fly by. And then before you know, when you're in February, you're looking at it like, God, business end now. It's all systems go, and that's how we like it.
It is, and we really hope that you had a lovely Christmas period and a nice New Year as well. And thanks for all the support that we've seen so far this season. It's back-to-back away sellouts in terms of what we're looking at in terms of the games. The Notts County one was 1,900, incredible support there. Cheltenham, sellout there of over 1,000, and fingers crossed the support can continue in the stands, and for us as well with this, it means an awful lot to us to have the support for everybody watching this. We hope you're also enjoying the inside match days. Great shout out to Josh there, who's doing incredible work with us. Owen's doing incredible work, through photography. Those two capture an awful lot through the lens that we want to give them a shout out as well.
Couldn't do what we do without them. Yeah, genuinely.
Exactly, they do superb work there. So thank you very much to them, and fingers crossed 2025 brings plenty more moments for them to capture and to bring to you. Leaves us just to say again, thanks for joining us here on the Rewind as we look back at the month of December in 2024, and we'll see you next time.